Hello, this is my second video that I'm doing on this channel, and I hope you don't mind the fan. It's really hot in the place that I got. A lot's changed since my first video, and I want to begin explaining kind of the situation without going too much into detail. But yeah, I just got out of a 5-year relationship with my partner, and this happened by me finding out that they were unfaithful right at the end there, which was tough, without a doubt. But I'm not really too concerned about it. I know that it had to do with our contract that we signed, before we came here on planet Earth, and it's something that kind of had to happen. And I was dreaming a lot about me, jumping timelines and kind of seeing what the relationship would look like, in other situations. And we were just kind of unhappy, me and my partner and I, towards the end. And it seems like in every single timeline I explored, it was the same frequency of not truly happy with our position, and it only kind of continues unless something drastic like this happens. I hope you don't mind the fan. I hope it's not ruining the sound. Sorry, that just kind of needs to be on right now. It's also kind of some ambient noise, but anyway, besides that, I'm come to terms with that because this happened within a few weeks ago, not too long ago, so it's still kind of fresh. And I've sat down and talked to my partner afterwards about it, actually just yesterday, and this happened a few weeks ago, like 2.5 weeks ago, where I found out about it, and it happened probably like 3-4 weeks ago, a month ago. And it's tough. They're having, honestly, a harder time with it than me right now, and I do believe that's because, first of all, it was super tough for me at the beginning, but I'm a lot more further along my journey, my emotional maturity. Not to discredit my partner by any means, but she's definitely going through, some shadow work and her first ego death, and that's the reason why it led to that situation, without a doubt. Is she explained it as she didn't feel like herself at the end, and not to justify her actions by any means, but it's a lot more clarifying for me personally. It's not necessarily making the situation easier, but it helps wrap my head around it. And that put me in an interesting position. And to kind of go further in detail, like a big stressor of ours was trying to find a place, because our lease was up at this one place and we were not staying at that place. And I found out recently that I don't have the best history due to circumstances outside of my control, without getting into it. So we were unable to find a place, and then, we moved in with her parents again. And that was actually a really pleasant experience because I have a good relationship with her family. And I was, very distraught because I felt, very guilty about my situation. I felt like a burden, and that's kind of a consistent issue of mine, is facing the reality that I am enough. And that kind of led to this. And it's, I could sit here and dwell on the whole situation and then further dig myself into more insecurities and feel that burden, but I honestly feel kind of like a weight off my shoulders in a sense, because I'm very stubborn, and I was going to make it work no matter what, and that's probably what led to it, without a doubt. And without feeling like I'm the victim or whatnot, even though that's clearly the case, without a doubt, I try to transmute and focus on more of a positive outlook on things, and it's clearly a shadow work thing. And I've been going through my own ego death in this period too, and it's honestly been a more pleasant one overall, even though it's not a pleasant situation, because I feel a lot more security about myself, and things were starting to fall like in alignment. Funny enough, I mean, I knew that was going to kind of happen, but my spirituality is growing to a sense of it needs to come first, and I'm excited about that, and that's primarily why I'm making this video, is to kind of share that and try to help elevate in any way I can. And the first sign of that is, I just kind of up and left, so that put me in a situation where I was homeless, and with my current situation of having not the best rent history, I wasn't, expecting to find a place, but I ended up finding a place, and now I have my own place, and that's kind of nice because I wasn't expecting that. I also quit my job because of this situation, and I thought that was going to make it harder to find a place, but, I was able to move in and figure it out. I also explained my situation. I think that helped. And now I'm in kind of like a state of limbo, in a sense of, I know that I'm supposed to kind of just slow down and work on myself, but as someone who's just always kind of been working, and now I'm not working, it's definitely a bit tough. And I've had like periods of times where I'm not working for like a little bit in between jobs, but didn't really feel like I wasn't, not working. I was just working on other aspects. And now this is kind of my first time where it's like, okay, well, I'm still working on myself, but it's not as hard. It doesn't feel like work. I know that I'm surrounded by my spirit guides and spirit beings and multi-dimensional beings as well, without a doubt, and all of that's helping me, create the ego that I want, and the ego that serves both me but also other people around me. And I'm moving to a state of, instead of being self-limiting, being selfless, because I always thought I was being selfless, but I was honestly just restricting myself and not allowing to fill up my cup so I could fill up other people's cup. And it's not that I wasn't helping fill up other people's cup, it's just you can do it a lot more effectively and efficiently if you do it for yourself first. And I'm very happy to have recognition of that and grateful. And I can sit here and just dwell in my human experience of, oh, it sucks, I'm the victim, da-da-da-da. But, it's kind of just a small thing in the grand scheme of things. And I could focus on that, or I could focus on my spiritual growth. And, I'm getting a little tired of some of these human things, if I'm going to be honest, because I know I'm astral projecting in my sleep and going up, and whether it's going around the world and helping heal, or going up and doing, my galactic summits and sitting at a council and working things out on what's the best. And I wish I had more clarity on exactly 100% what I'm doing, because without a doubt I'm still kind of blocked in that regard, and I know it's on purpose and it's to allow divine timing and it's allow growth, but it gets a little lonesome when I know that like I could be connecting with these beings on a different level and have more awareness of it, but I'm surrendering to the source and I'm allowing things to be, and I know that that's for the best. And it's important to do that, especially in our current time, because if you turn on the news or just even look outside, obviously it depends on where you live, but not everything's going well for everyone, and it's kind of, we're in a state of upheaval, and that's because we're bringing everything to the surface to clear out our karma, because that's what this year entails, 2025-9. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to clear my karma. I'm able to help my previous partner clear her karma and move forward, because I know that that's not going to be my experience in the future. And that makes it a lot easier to start another relationship whenever that happens, or regardless of whatever happens. I know that I'm prepared for it, and I feel more prepared than ever before. And it's nice to have this knowledge, because it helps me teach something, because I could take this situation and then I could just start applying a label to every future partner, or just generalize, people. Like, for instance, I hear the phrase, all men are pigs a lot, which is, I find that very funny, because I wouldn't classify myself as that. Obviously, it's you know, my definition can be taken different ways, but I've never been personally called that, so I wouldn't, align with that. And when you start to generalize like that and label people like that, well, you're a reflection, you're manifesting that, so every single man that comes in your life is going to be a pig. Or I can say it on the reverse end of like the gender of like, all women are unfaithful because of my situation, but that's not true. And if I project that out to the universe, then I'm only going to encounter unfaithful women. And if I project that all men are pigs, I'm only going to come across pigs. And it's nice to know that I'm actively in a better headspace in terms of what's next. And I'm trying to use this as a moment of strength and not a moment of weakness, because I'm being vulnerable, which I consider strength. And instead of dwelling on what it is or what it is not, I can just sit here and transmute. And I'm grateful for that. Now, where to continue? I mean, I've kind of gotten my personal stuff out, but I definitely was more focused on labels. I think labels are a very important thing, because you could label anything as something and it will eventually be true in your reality, however you morph it. You know, a man in a cave who only sees shadows is not really going to understand what's happening in the outside world when he starts to walk outside of the cave. If you label something enough and firmly believe it, then it is true, because our beliefs are our reality. I mean, you can say the color red is red, but what if you were taught that it was green the entire life? Well, then your green is the universe's red. Or, your sun could be labeled the moon if you were, taught and believed that. And we are definitely creators of what's around us, and that's why I'm creating this video. It's a reflection of how I feel right now, and kind of a stepping stone to go further, because ultimately that is my next step. I'm not going to sit here and dwell. And that's also the message I want to share. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily care if it even is viewed by one person. I mean, I don't even think my first video that came out like a while back has gotten a single view. But that doesn't necessarily matter, because I know that's probably not going to stay the same. And if it ends up reaching anyone and it ends up helping even a little bit, that's all that really matters, because I know that it's helping me, and I think that that can be the case for other people too. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to take that as a sign. The fan turning off, I was kind of using it as my background noise, and also to keep me cool. But I also just kind of want to put it out there that if you do somehow come across my video and somehow got to this point, leave a comment and explain maybe your situation and how you're not allowing it to keep you stagnant. Because, we're here to learn and grow. And not that it's not bad to sit in a spot and learn from it, but it is not necessarily super healthy to remain stagnant, because that's going to come up again if you just ignore it. I mean, that's kind of how the situation happened with, my ex, is that, they had a relationship and just blocked it off and didn't have any closure on it, and then happened to come back full circle, and yeah, that's what happens. Comes back up. You gotta clear it, It's not really running from it. It really isn't. Alright, I hope you have a great day. I love whoever's seeing this, and take care.